let's say I'm not interested in looking at active listings. I'm an off the market type buyer. And I don't really want to participate in bidding wars, things like that. What I'm going to do is forget about all of the active listings. So in my listings tab that I have pulled up here, I'm going to turn my listings off. I'm going to click on this property reports button. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in. Let's just zoom into a random area here. I'm going to zoom in here. And let's say I want to purchase some property in this area. Again, I'm going to make sure that all of my ownership information is turned on, that all of my filters are set the way I want them to. And I'm going to zoom in here. We'll be just south of Waco, Texas here. I'm going to zoom in, see my parcels load, and I'm just going to click on one of those parcels. Now, again, I'm a Land App user. I'm subscribed. I can get this data and information for 154 parcels, 154 million parcels across the United States, as many as I want. I can add parcels. I can make complete parcel sets, so I can add these together and get the indexes. If you are not a Land App user, you can get one report for free every day. So same way we were looking at those listings, I clicked on a parcel and it went ahead and ran, that AI algorithm ran a quick breakdown of what is the relative value for these different parcels. So again, I can go through and take a look at the different land use types. It's going to automatically populate the data for me here. And I can see the breakdown of that specific parcel, how much pasture land we have, how much woodland we have, all of those different types of resources. And we go back here and I can do the same thing. Go ahead and take a look at solar, scoring a 67 on the index. I'm going to go ahead and click solar information. I'm going to click on this here, and we're going to go ahead and see we don't have any structures there. This is what some people say to us is like, okay, well, I'm only worried about parcels that have structures and rooftops and things like that on there. So in that case, I want to go ahead and find out what the rooftop solar potential would be on a piece of property. So I'm going to uncheck this box by clicking on it. I'm going to zoom out and we're going to go closer to a more urban area. Maybe we'll look at a single family house and we'll take a look at the data and information that we have there. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at this guy here. This is Rosa Marie Moores. If you're on the webinar, which I doubt, but hello if you are. We'll click on the solar and we're going to go ahead and click on our information. Going to uncheck that one. We'll do this one here. Give me 1 second while this loads. We're going to click on solar energy again. We're going to click on a rooftop solar. And you can see, again, data is going to load immediately when I start looking at that. And you're going to see the actual rooftop outline. It's going to tell me how large the rooftop is. And it's going to give me a breakdown here of how many megawatts it's going to generate, how many overall megawatts it's going to generate throughout the year, and how many tons of CO2 that can actually offset. And then it's going to tell me my overall revenue that I can generate from that piece of property. So it doesn't really matter what type of property you're looking at. There's data and there's analytics that are important for every piece of property with the LandGate system and all of those different things. One other feature before we start getting into the Q&A here, I do want to show you, we'll go to another random area so that you know that this data is valuable across the United States. We'll go ahead and we'll go into Alabama because we've been in the western part of the United States for a while. I'm going to go ahead and click on this parcel. Again, I want people to understand how quickly that map just loaded. This is 154 million parcels loaded on one map. And I just quickly zoomed out, zoomed over, and here we are. Now we're starting to dig in. Another really good solar potential area here, 84 for this index. We're going to jump over and we'll take a look at where the infrastructure is. We're seeing a transmission line running through the property. All of that, it's great. But let's say I don't want to go back through and generate and take a look at all of those things. And I want to go ahead and export a report for this piece of property. So I can save it on my computer, whatever. All I have to do is click this export button. I can customize this report, include or exclude any type of data that I want, and I can go ahead and click export. What those reports look like is, and we're going to go through like 4 or 5 different ones. You can see this is a report that was generated for a ranch here in Colorado. There you can see very quickly a breakdown of the indexes, the risk indexes, and all of the data, the technical data is stored for each one of those sections. So there's your land use data. Here is the overall property features. If this was a more urban residential area, you're going to see all of the amenities loading here, how many restaurants you have, EV, proximity EV chargers, things like that, topography, trees, all of the data that we were showing you in the user interface in the app is downloaded and put into these reports. So the really cool thing about that is I can go ahead and make reports for all of the listings. Again, I'm an off the market buyer, or maybe I'm a property manager, whatever it is, my use case is, I can now compare all of my properties side by side. So let's say maybe I own this ranch in Colorado, 473 acres. I can quickly see where I have high value, low value, where I have risks and where I don't have risks on this piece of property. Let's say I also own this commercial real estate building in Pittsburgh. I can see relative high values, relative risks on this piece of property. Back over to a farming piece of property in Colorado, I can see where I have values, risks, and then all the way down to a luxury home in Los Angeles, right? So there is a very nice piece of property right off of Long Beach, California, and I can go ahead and see something very quick. Where's their relative value that might be hidden, but where is their elevated risk that might be hidden? I would guarantee the owner of this $3 million luxury estate in California has no clue of the extraordinarily high risk of oil and gas abandoned well contamination on their property. Probably are aware of the natural earthquakes, but there's additional risks here. Again, when I compare all of these different properties together, or even just doing due diligence on my own property, I'm finding out about things about my property that I didn't know before. So these reports are very, very easy to generate for the real estate and land professionals out there. These are completely customizable. I can upload my logo. That's from our friends at M4 Ranches. There's Dan Murphy. He has given me permission to use his smiling face on these for demonstration purposes, but he can white label this report, and they do. They do a very good job with these, and it turns into their report, whether they're trying to get a client, whether they're providing this as a present for the closing of a deal. Here's an additional report, or they're just routinely checking in with their clients every year. They're going to go ahead and whoever they've bought and sold a piece of property for, here's an update on your property. Here you go, and keeping that relationship open. So there's a lot of different ways to use this data.